Level 1, the runner. You don't own anything. Not really. Your job is movement. Documents. Keys. Cash deposits. Quiet exchanges that never get written down in full. You carry a leather folder with 6 property files inside it. Each one represents a deal too small for the people above you, but too sensitive to leave unattended. Riverline Towers is a mid-tier residential block with cracked marble floors and security cameras that don't all work. You take the elevator to 4B. The tenant is already gone. Evicted 2 days ago. You just finalized the removal. You slide a signature page into place. 1 stamp. 1 signature. 1 life shifted out of a building. The rent increase attached to this unit is $780 higher than last month. You don't ask why. You never ask why. At this level, curiosity is expensive. Your handler, a man you only know as Mark, sends you a message. Good. Next one is 7:40 a.m. Midtown Acquisition Office. Don't be late. You realize something quietly as you leave the building. You are not working in real estate. You are moving people like inventory. And you are replaceable. Level 2, the coordinator. The office is brighter now. Glass walls. Clean desks. Coffee that costs too much for how fast it cools. You're no longer just delivering documents. You're preparing them. You make cold calls to landlords who don't fully understand what they're agreeing to. You say phrases like portfolio optimization and asset repositioning. They nod. They sign. You track 37 properties across 3 boroughs. Each one has a number next to it. Each number represents leverage, rent potential, zoning flexibility, displacement probability. You learn the first real rule here. Nothing is illegal if it's structured correctly. Mark promotes you without calling it a promotion. You now sit in meetings where people don't look at you directly, but still expect you to speak when needed. One afternoon, you process a buyout negotiation. $12,000 offered to a family that has lived in the same rent-controlled unit for 14 years. They refuse. Your job is not persuasion. It's pressure. You coordinate inspection schedules, maintenance delays, utility disruptions, small inconveniences stacked like bricks until resistance becomes exhaustion. They sign on day 11. You tell yourself it's business, but you notice you've stopped sleeping properly. Level 3, the broker's asset. You are introduced to the network. Not officially. It happens in fragments. Names shared in passing. Numbers scribbled on napkins. A handshake that lasts half a second longer than necessary. You now handle deals worth $2 to $5 million at a time. Your job is matching buyers who never appear in public records with properties that are about to become available. You understand the language now. Vacant means targeted. Distressed means profitable. Underperforming means vulnerable. You sit in a conference room overlooking downtown. The city feels small from up here. A senior broker slides a file toward you. Brooklyn waterfront. 6 units. Owner is emotionally unstable. Divorce pending. Perfect timing. You feel something shift in you. Not excitement. Precision. You begin anticipating people before they make decisions. You learn how stress moves through property owners like heat through metal. At night, you scroll through listings that are not public yet. You are seeing tomorrow's city today, and you realize something worse. You are good at this. Level 4, the operator. Now you don't just process deals, you shape them. You coordinate inspectors, contractors, legal advisors, and market consultants, all aligned to the same outcome without ever saying it aloud. A building in Queens becomes your test case. You identify 3 tenants who are statistically most likely to break under financial pressure. Within 6 weeks, 1 loses job stability. 1 receives a medical bill. 1 gets a rent increase notice at exactly the wrong time. You don't cause any of it directly. You simply arrange the environment. The property sells for $18.4 million. Above projected value. Your bonus is $47,000. You don't celebrate. Instead, you notice the first real cost of your position. You can no longer walk through neighborhoods without calculating them. Empty storefronts become opportunity. Old buildings become leverage. People become variables. Mark stops correcting you now. That's how you know you're advancing. Level 5, the insider. You are invited into closed-door meetings. There are no agendas circulated in advance. No minutes taken. No recordings. Just numbers spoken aloud and decisions made in silence between sentences. You now have access to acquisition pipelines, entire blocks marked for consolidation over the next 18 to 24 months. You understand what monopoly actually means here. It isn't owning everything. It's controlling what becomes available. A developer slides you a map. 7 buildings in Harlem. One strategy. Phase displacement. Slow absorption. No headlines. Budget, $96 million. Your role. Coordinate timing so tenants exit before legal thresholds trigger oversight. You begin to see yourself differently, not as a person inside the system, but as the system's memory. You remember every weak point, every delay, every vulnerability. At home, your apartment feels temporary even though you've lived there 3 years. Because now you know. Everything is temporary. It just depends on who is planning its end. Level 6, the authority figure. You no longer receive instructions. You receive outcomes that require shaping. People wait for your approval before moving forward on deals worth hundreds of millions. A district-level redevelopment plan lands on your desk. It involves rezoning an entire industrial corridor. Projected displacement, 8,400 residents. Projected profit increase across portfolio holdings, 31%. You adjust 3 clauses. Not major changes. Just enough to shift liability away from key investors and onto subcontracted entities. No one questions it. You realize something unsettling. Power at this level is not about force. It is about authorship. You are no longer part of decisions. You are where decisions are written. A junior analyst asks you once how you sleep at night. You don't answer, because you don't know when sleep stopped being rest and started being interruption. Level 7, the strategic broker. You control timing across markets now. Interest rate rumors, development delays, zoning votes, tax incentives. You don't manipulate them individually. You synchronize them. Entire neighborhoods move in response to coordinated signals you help release. A single leaked urban renewal proposal causes property values in 2 boroughs to drop 14% in a week. Your network acquires aggressively during the dip. Then the proposal is quietly revised. Values recover. Profit margin, $312 million across distributed holdings. No single entity appears responsible. That is your signature. You sit in a private room above the financial district with no windows facing the city anymore. You don't need them. You already know what the city is doing at any given moment. A colleague says you've become untouchable. You correct them. No one is untouchable. They ask what you were then. You don't answer immediately, because the truth is harder to say. You are what happens before consequences exist. Level 8, the architect. There is no office now, only access. You move through systems that no longer require your presence to function. Your name appears in fewer and fewer places. Your influence appears everywhere. A city planning committee unknowingly adopts a framework you drafted 6 months ago through intermediaries who no longer remember who originated it. Entire districts reshape themselves around it. You no longer approve deals. Deals form around your assumptions. At this level, money is irrelevant. Information is currency. Timing is control. Absence is authority. You review a final consolidation map. One last region remains fragmented, not because it resists, but because it hasn't been aligned yet. You could complete it in a year, maybe less, but you hesitate, not out of morality, out of distance. You are too far removed from resistance to feel challenged by it anymore. That is the cost no one explains. At the beginning, you fought for position. Now position fights for relevance to you. You look at the city one last time from a private rooftop that does not belong to any official ownership record. Lights stretch outward like a grid you once helped design without realizing it would become permanent. You think about level 1, the runner with the folder, still believing this was about transactions. Somewhere across the city, a new recruit is standing in a hallway holding a document they don't fully understand. A phone vibrates. A number appears. No name attached. The call is answered before it finishes ringing. Unit 4B, Riverline Towers. Bring the folder. The door opens, and the system continues.